So now that you've done it, do you kind of wish you were in their shoes and that you were one of the ones hunting or being hunted, as opposed to just getting, like, I would love to sit back and just watch. But, like, you're an active person, so I would imagine a little bit of you must have been like, oh my God, I wish I could just get out there and do it and show them what they're doing wrong.
There's frustration, absolutely. When I see them making bad choices, I just want to be out there just, schooling them. Be like, dude, seriously? Why are you going up there? That is the worst place you could possibly be going right now. You've got hunters on your tail, go that way. Or, not listening to my instructions, not sabotaging the right people, because they were worried about the social aspect or whatever. It's kind of harsh to say it's kill or be killed, but it's kind of that way. Like there's only one team who's going to survive and make it through to the end. The rest will go home. That was kind of frustrating for me to watch. I kind of want to be out there and school them, but as far as being a contestant, I'm happy being in charge.
Fair enough. There's a show on right now called Who Done It. It's on ABC, and at the end of every episode, whoever gets kicked off ultimately dies. There was a legion of online fans who thought people were actually getting murdered.
Oh, really?
So tell me, now on the show, on Capture, people are being hunted.
Yeah.
So pitch to people why it's not scary and why hunting people is not a bad thing.
Actually, it is kind of scary because people are chasing you through the woods. At the very beginning of the show, I say you will hunt and be hunted, and that is the prime directive of the show. Everything is real about the hunt, from the stalking to the tracking to the ambush or final foot race. The only thing that's different between like an actual, kill hunt is that we are digitally capturing them with the Talon. The Talon is an electronic device. Once it touches their vest, they are caught, and then they get put inside a jail cell and they have to wait elimination.
Now, the first episode, when the way that they're sent off into the woods, and it's pretty much a foot race with the one team that has to hunt down two other teams. Does it get progressively more intense in terms of maybe now week 2 there are obstacles thrown in their way? How does it work in terms of what these people are coming up against?
Well, I think what we see, episode 1 is really just kind of like establishing the format, and it's also the contestants getting used to the playing field. The hunting grounds are huge, so they need to start learning the terrain. We see them all run out, but quickly when they get into the woods, they can't maintain that speed. So we find contestants who find different areas where they feel better, like finding the high vantage spots on top of rocks might be better to have the high ground and see people coming after you. We find some who prefer to hide away and, get into areas where it's very difficult to run, so they can sneak around a bit better. Throughout the show, especially when people start to get a little bit comfortable in their terrain, that's when we really start throwing them some curveballs. So the advantages and the sabotages that I throw at them play a huge part in gameplay and can really just change the entire thing.
Now, how much are you seeing? Like, are you sitting in the back with the monitors watching where everybody is?
Yep.
Okay, so how does it? Are you allowed to kind of at any point in episodes that we haven't seen yet be in people's ear, like be in the team that are the hunters? Is that an advantage that they could maybe win, to have an extra set of eyes?
No.
Okay.
My position is not to favour anybody. It's to look at the entire game board that I'm looking at fairly impartially. So I can digitally manipulate the hunting ground, so I can create a very large area for them, I can shut them down, but what I won't do is force them out of areas where they might be hiding unfairly. I won't push people into the hunt team, for example. And I won't get onto the hunt team and say, hey, that team is around the corner, go now. They don't get that advantage with me. It's whether they're hunter or the prey.
Gotcha.
I challenge them all equally. And that's something that, unilaterally, whatever role they're playing, they all sort of look at me with a bit of disdain. They're like, damn you, why couldn't you help us? I'm not here to help you, dude. You're here to win 250 grand.
Honestly, at the same time, like you just said, you just use the word impartial when it comes to teams. I do feel, I've only seen the premiere, but I do feel like you are nicer to these people than maybe I would be. The team that gets out first, they had a crappy strategy, let's be honest. So as things go on, do you find that you kind of knew which team you thought was the team to beat? I'm not asking you to spoil who, but did you kind of start to, based on strategy or based on people that you liked genuinely, kind of have that sort of, I'm keeping my eye on you guys?
There were some teams that I thought, either strategically or because they had certain physical advantages, I thought, yeah, they're going to do well. But really, honestly, I saw some teams that I almost wrote off to start with, just continually make it through. I'm like, wow, they really have a good strategy.
Okay.
And when it came down to it, and the teams are up there on the chopping block for elimination, I'm impartial throughout it, and I try not to be mean about it. I'm very stern about, here are the rules. If you break them, then you can get captured, you can go home,
right.
or you'll be penalised in some way. And I'm very stern in that sense, but I'm also not, critiquing them. My only interest is to make sure that one team remains. The weakest teams are there for elimination. If they happen to go home, I'm not going to be mean to them. They just failed. They can be mean to themselves.
Okay, no, that's fair. And America will be mean for you, so you can play the role of like the nice, impartial guy.
Well,
and
I think
we'll rip everybody apart.
Yeah, I think throughout it, you'll see, I'm fairly stern on them.
Okay.
They think that I'm kind of ruling the game with a bit of an iron fist, and that's okay. I don't have a huge amount of passion, whether liking them or hating them.
Sure.
It's just they're my game pieces. I'm the manipulating throughout it, and finally there'll be a couple who'll step up who'll be worthy, and they get to walk away with 250 grand.
You were talking a lot about strategy, and now seeing these teams where they're actually learning and growing throughout the process. If you were in their shoes, if you didn't have the nice cushy hosting position, what would your strategy be?
I look at it like, in the wild, a successful herd is one that accepts that the weakest will get taken out by predators. I'd find a couple of weak teams that I could help. There's no reason to sell them out right away, but you do want a couple of weak teams around you just in case you make a mistake out there, or you get held up somehow, or an advantage gets played that puts us all at risk. And ultimately you want the hunt team to catch the weaker team and send them home while I make my escape. So I'd be looking at that. I'd also not make the mistake of discounting the advice that the game master was giving me. When I tell you, you will need this item, or you will need this food, or you need to go here. Listen to me. The ones who don't listen, they pay a price.